Good morning, Milwaukee. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday to you. You are listening to Community Heartbeat presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. Not just a show, this is a movement dedicated to bringing our community together through wellness, keeping your heart pumping with positivity. It's Friday the 13th.
It's Friday.
It's
What that
Friday the
mean?
13th.
What does that
So
mean?
it could either 13 can go either way. It could be really lucky or it could be very, very, very unlucky. So we just gonna jump right into the superstitions, right? Because when people say Friday the 13th, they're like Jason, Freddy, you know, the whole thing. But when we talk health superstitions, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna open the show with health superstitions. We're not superstitious anymore, but we kind of are, right? So Milwaukee, I want to hear from you. 414-444-5250. Health superstitions. Write out Debo. Cracking knuckles. Will it give you arthritis?
I believe so.
Okay.
I know it hurts like get out.
Okay.
You know, if you
It don't bother
Get
me.
in
you know
Get
if
in
you
there, get in
you know
there.
if you pop it at the I don't
At
want
the
to say at the
joint.
right man that pop, you know, when you pop it and there's that pressure that's inside of there.
So popping your spine, popping your neck, or the whole thing, you think it gives you arthritis?
I think it doesn't. I think it because I look at some chiropractic things that people do that they pop in different things, actually loosens the muscle up, so forth.
I'm not gonna tell y'all pop, lock, and drop it is in my head.
I
Okay,
pop
carry.
my I don't know about nothing else.
No, but I mean, I really do. I think it helps.
Okay, relieve the pressure in the joint.
Yes. Ma'am.
Okay, cracking your knuckles is not a problem.
So where did the pressure come from?
It's I forget the acid they say that's in the joints, but it releases it. No harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul.
You can crack your knuckles, not a problem. Okay, so that myth debunked on Community Heartbeat.
Yeah,
How
see,
about
you can't fool me now? Let's roll.
Next. Number two. Next up, babies and cats. Babies and cats. Should we have babies and cats in the same room? Should they be together? This is a big one in the community.
Now
I've heard that.
I've heard that cats would take the breath out the baby.
Right.
Smother the baby.
Right.
I don't know how true that is. I
Let me-
don't like cats. So.
You don't like cats?
No, they too sneaky, man.
Come on.
We can't have too sneaky things around.
Because the cat peeping you being sneaky.
like,
is
hey, hold on.
ridiculous.
I'm the sneaky one.
Right. Okay,
Now
so
my
what you
input
think?
would be
Mhm.
old people.
Old people, seasoned, mature
No.
elders.
People like Debo.
Older people. I always put it this way: these old myths and cliches don't get to be that way without some merit.
Some truth.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the deal with cats and babies, but I'm gonna give you a story first. So I was pregnant. I was like emotional wreck, right? So y'all know me as happy, bubbly. I was weepy, crying, like, oh my God, the weather is so sunshiny today. I don't understand. Everything made me cry. Okay.
That bad?
It was really that bad. I'm like, oh my God, the weather is like 88 degrees. You know what happens with eights? Eights are beautiful.
Oh
It's
my
infinity. It just right. So
You
I was
having a breakdown or
I
something.
was on a daily basis. So I went and bought an emotional support cat. Okay, I bought an emotional support cat. This cat adored me. Okay, adored me. I would lay down, cat comes, to the belly, all of that. But of course, I'm gonna do my homework. Pregnant women are not supposed to be around cats because the litter box, right? So the litter box has chemicals that the cat is on the paws and all that, and that can create difficulties with the baby. So they say, if you're pregnant, you shouldn't have, somebody else needs to change the litter box. Somebody else needs to do that because it can create toxicity in the unborn baby. So that one has a little bit of truth to it, but man, I wouldn't have made it without that cat. Because some days it would just be like,
I'm grateful you had that cat.
Me too. And then of course, once the baby was born, that's when my mother's like, oh my God, the cat's gonna take the baby's breath. Right. So if mom is listening, shout out to mom. So we gave the cat away.
Where did that come from?
So I think it's the whole Egyptian cats. They want to make cats evil, but there's nothing inherently evil about cats, especially black cats. It's just that why it's got to be evil because it's black. Don't start.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I just think cats are
mythical and magical.
Yeah.
No.
You think?
She
Okay,
said,
so do
Okay.
you think they really have 9 lives, and why do they say that?
No, I think
Okay,
cats got
okay.
9 lives because I
Just go.
saw I saw a cat.
You saw that cat get hit by
Oh
a car.
man, and I could have sworn he got up like, "Hey man, I'm good. I got 8 more." Like, hey, hold on, man. What did I just see?
I cannot with you.
Hey man. Hey, now either I was high as a research monkey, or that cat really got up. He got 8 more lives to go.
You said it like
Oh my
Jesus. He
God.
got
He rose again. It didn't even take 3 days, Jack. Like he got right up. He was like,
I cannot with y'all.
and got right up and walked
I
across the
cannot.
street. Like this is an alley cat. You know, that's where the alley cats came from.
You know, I feel like city cats are built different.
Yeah, I
feel
listen.
like city cats are
I
built
swear, man, that cat got hit was like, and got up and walked across the street. I said, man, that's cold blooded.
Now I'll tell y'all what I seen right out this window right here.
Cold blooded.
Oh my God.
Right out this window. On I'm looking out there, and there
Oh
was
my God.
2 dogs was walking down the street. So that, remember that? I got
Remember
up
that? Yeah.
from back there, and I walked over there, and I
Yeah.
looked. I said, "Man, where them some big old dogs running
Yeah.
loose."
Listen,
So they was cutting it, and the
I'm-
light was green, and traffic was coming. One dog stopped, and he looked, and he watched his boy get hit.
Yeah, he ain't lying.
And he looked at me and said, "Dog, you all right?"
And walked past him.
He said, "Come on, man." So they went on across the street, but he got hit.
He ain't lying. He is not lying.
I cannot with y'all. I
Yeah.
promise today.
Hey man, that's that
But he
hood.
stopped. He watched him get hit. He was like,
Yeah.
"Dog,
Hey man,
hey man, I told you to stop, man."
He tried to tell him. A dude's hard headed.
The dogs. I mean, listen, they do have their own communication system. I
I
promise
swear,
I'm
bro.
gonna
It didn't work that day. His boy got hit.
And Debo was not lying. I swear, I see them.
So they had the communication.
But then you know
between
what?
the two.
You know what happened, right?
Tell me what happened.
Good
Oh.
Samaritan came along and tried to get the dog into the car and help him out. The dog looked at him like, "Dude, I'm good. I'm good."
Get up off me.
You not
They went through this alley over here, right over here behind the funeral home.
Not lying.
Oh Lord. Okay, I needed that last.
Man, I
one.
thought I thought it was over for you, man. Man, I did too, man.
Hey man, I gotta look.
You all right, dog?
Oh,
Yeah, dog, I'm all right.
There is a communication.
You think dogs call each other dog like we do? That's my dog.
That's my. Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
So can you imagine that? Dog, you all right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm good, dog.
Y'all are a mess. Whatever y'all have for breakfast, you can't have that next time. You can't. But I feel like there is a communication system between.
Next
the animals.
question.
They-
Next question. We ready.
they
We
do.
ready now.
Okay, tickling baby's feet. Problematic, not problematic. They say that makes baby stutter.
Stutter. Yep, that's true. Cause somebody must have tickled my feet when I was little. Cause boy, I was a stuttering.
Ain't
Child.
nobody done tickled your
Somebody did
feet. Ain't
something.
nobody tickled.
Because
your
I
feet.
couldn't get words out. That's why I'm surprised I'm in talk radio now that I'm older.
Lord
But
have mercy.
no, seriously. I think it's true. It's no
No,
it's not
no
true.
truth to it.
There's no
No
truth to
truth to it. You could argue, I guess, the stimulation part. Like, you know, if you are overstimulating a baby, that could create some challenges. But no truth to that. No truth to that.
So because I couldn't figure out why my son stuttered and I don't.
Yeah, it
It had me looking at my wife real funny.
They're like, hey,
Start looking at the mailman and see if he stutter.
that's like talk,
Hey
brother.
man, you got some mail for this house? No.
So listen, I think it's a process with how the brain works. So of course I have some
They're
stutterers
speaking
in the
before their
family.
brain
Right,
tells them what to say.
Right. And I feel like for me, I feel like every challenge, every quote unquote weakness is somebody's superpower, right? So if y'all seen the movie Wanted, have you seen the movie Wanted? Angelina Jolie, what's his name? McAvoy? No. The bullet bending? No.
No.
Okay, well, please put that in your queue. It's a great movie. But in the movie, he's very anxious. So he's heightened. He's always over on edge. But that plays to his advantage because he's able to bend bullets around corners and all that. He can slow down time in his mind.
So you know what's crazy is when I was younger and having a speech impediment, like talking, it was hard for like certain words like the J's, the S's, and the M's.
Yeah.
But I can sing it and I wouldn't stutter.
See, you wasn't even
was just
supposed to talk.
crazy.
You
Yeah,
was only
it-
supposed to sing
like,
when you
A, B, C, D. I mean, Kitty got, ooh, E-F-G. They like, get out.
Yeah, you gonna be suspended.
Yeah, you,
Listen,
what is
that's,
spelled?
that's nurturing
No,
your
but-
talent.
but-
That's
it's crazy though, because how the brain working, you
Yep.
saying, you know, man, that the brain is trying to you know, get the words out before you can say it.
Yep.
And I couldn't say it, like I was having a hard time. And but as I got older, I started slowing myself down. So I started taking control. So I was like, well, let me slow myself down and take control of this. And then I started controlling.
See, this is what I'm saying. So I think a lot of times
I think it depends on what day of the week it is for him, because he still stutter a little bit.
Doc, I'll be like, no, but listen, I got to tell y'all this one time so we can move on.
Yeah.
One time I was having this argument. It was the funniest thing in life, man. My boy Chad Roper, love you, bro. We was out somewhere. He was standing next to me, and my speech impediment was terrible. Like, but when I get upset, it's really hard for me to get words out. Like I'm going crazy.
Oh Lord!
So this young man made me mad, and I was trying to tell him off, and it wouldn't come out. Funny. So everybody was standing there like, you know, they was like,
okay.
It's not funny.
Hey, it was to the point I got so frustrated I started sweating. I looked at my guy Chad. I said, "You tell him."
That's terrible.
I ain't lying, dog. He started going off on the dude. I'm like, yeah, that's what I meant to say. But no, but I'm so glad, man, that I grew up out of it. You know, I still do stutter a little bit.
Yeah,
when I'm dealing with Debo, with Debo, I stutter a little bit.
Especially on Tuesdays.
Yeah,
Tuesdays are bad.
Yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
What you be doing
on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
This is a family show.
On Tuesdays and Thursdays, like juvenile.
No.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Family. It's a family program. We don't want to know what you be doing on them off days.
Next question.
We do have a caller.
Oh, okay.
Greetings and good morning. Listen, let me just apologize. Say we sorry already. Good morning to you.
Yeah, how y'all doing?
Good. How are you this morning?
All right. With that stuttering, because I used to stutter a lot.
Okay.
I had to tell my player, because he used to stutter. He really couldn't speak, and I had to tell him, before you speak, say it to yourself. Don't let nobody hear it. Just say it to yourself in your mind.
Okay.
And then afterwards, then you say it. And the boy speak real good. So speaking is like you said, almost rushing.
Right.
And I had to tell him, I said, before you even get your sentence in your mind, say it to yourself. Like don't let nobody see your lips.
Right.
But like you want to say what's going on, you say to yourself what's going on.
Say it in your mind.
Yeah.
So how beneficial is that just as a tool for human? Like take a beat before you respond to something. Take a beat before you reply to people. And think through your full thought before you say it.
Right.
It's
right.
I
told him, I said, and it works. I was like if somebody talk to you and say, "Hello, what's happening?" Don't respond to them. Say it to yourself. Somebody say, "Hey, what's going on? You cool?" Don't respond right away, but you say it to yourself, I'm okay. How are you?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you can come out and say, I'm okay. How are you?
Right. So then you kind of get this air of mystery, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't react right away, then people start to think like, ooh, right? It becomes like a mysterious thing. They always think about it, or they speak slowly. I think people who speak very, very, very slowly are mesmerizing, because I'm like, and they're just, it's cool. I'm like, why are they so cool?
No, but that's true, because I actually had to do the same thing, like with certain words, like the W's and the R's and the J's, like really with saying my name, when somebody would ask, "Hey brother, what's your name?" So then that'll be that whole moment. That'll be that whole moment of, okay,
right,
here it goes.
My name is...
Hey man, hey brother, my name is Jermaine. And you would say it slow, but you say it to yourself. But then after you say it to yourself, and you can hear yourself saying it, now you can say it.
Yeah. And now
my name is right out.
In the 30s, and he speak very well. I told him, I was like, man, boy, I remember stuttering person. I say, man, I see this very well. And that's all I got to educate.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for sharing. We definitely appreciate that. And then I wonder is, because like I said, there are a few folks that I know that either stuttered as kids or stutter now. if most people grow out of it, right? But then the other thing is I'm feeling like more and more most people are growing into things. So like allergies they didn't have as kids, right? And I will say before we hit this first break, the trees outside have begun their yearly assemble
Here you go.
assassinate my eyeballs. That's
go.
what is happening. Right? I'm like, so if y'all see me, I'd have been laughing over here. I'm gonna have to get myself together during the break. But my eyes feel like 5 million eyelashes all in one. So if you got allergies, we in this thing together. That is a very unlucky part. So getting back to Friday the 13th.
Does it make it difficult to really enjoy outdooring and things of that nature?
Yeah, it's like a 2-week period where literally it hurts to keep my eyes open. And then after that, you know, whatever's blooming has arrived and it's good. But this last week has been crazy. So I figure another week into it, and then my eyes should return back to, and I'm talking like eye drops every 5 minutes. That's the level that is needed here. But you know, again, we're gonna make it through. I won't complain. Why won't I complain? Because the daylight, amen, my circadian rhythm. All right, we're moving on.
Is there another question? We're enjoying this.
Yeah, man, I'm on a roll.
If I don't hit my first break right out, it's gonna have my head. So let me tell you what we got going on.
We'll keep you on task.
This is true. Cut my mic off. That's how they treat me. Just cut my mic off. So we got a couple things coming up at Outreach Community Health Centers, which is open on Friday the 13th. So come on through. If you need to make an appointment, get some health care in. 414-727-6320 is the number to make an appointment. We have Juneteenth next week. Y'all going to Juneteenth?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I'm gonna be at Juneteenth, so y'all make sure y'all come by the booth.
Ask that question again.
You going to Juneteenth?
Ebony, keep going.
Listen.
Ask that question again.
I don't want to have to protest it here, Devo. I don't. But I keep the materials in my car ready just in case I have to pull up. Did he? You know what though? Before I say that, is his invitation to Juneteenth with his Dine with Docs invitation? Are those together? Because they might be in the same envelope. I don't know. So let me just ask that. They're probably in the same envelope. Are you not going to Juneteenth?
I want to go.
Okay. I'm positive it's broadcasting live, right?
Exactly.
From the Juneteenth. How can they do that without the master production team?
There's a way.
Well, he has to be here to facilitate the broadcast from our end. Is what we're working on. That's what he's, trying to.
Hey man,
start a public outcry.
I see. Hey man, I'm gonna be a one-man protest.
I'm gonna be out here doing with a sign protest. I'm black too.
He's starting a public outcry here.
If you would like to sign the petition to get right out to Juneteenth 2025, please.
He want to be in the parade.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna be a moment. It's gonna be a moment,
man. I've never been in a parade since I was in a parade when I was younger, but I was in the band and that didn't count because I was carrying them heavy drums.
The band is no joke. Man. The band is no joke. We're gonna get you in the parade.
I want to be free.
Okay. We gonna listen. That is gonna be my mission for the next couple days to get right out. Milwaukee, will you stand up with me?
What, then you come in and he's gonna train you on the board, and he'll go and you stay here.
Parade too.
No, we'll be there with the boot. So I got to get there, make sure my
she's
team.
working. I'm working. We work. We work.
Like what, brother?
Yeah, I'm working. It ain't like I'm
come out and see us at Juneteenth. We will have a booth. We will have our mobile health unit. We will be there giving blood pressure checks with giveaways. And it's gonna be a good time. So if you do nothing else, come take a selfie with me. Come and say hey.
Y'all gonna have free lemonade at your booth?
We don't do lemonade. Lemonade's not good for you. We'll have some infused water. All the sugar. Now y'all know.
So what about like if you make the homemade, just chop up
that's that porch tea. Yeah. We gonna talk about that porch tea when we come we come back. Because listen, I love me a good porch. Listen, when your parents are from the South, you do a couple things very Southern. So don't think your girl don't know about iced tea. Right? Just a little
iced tea, boy, with them lemons on there.
Hey. Focus. So what we're going to do is let me check my time. Right. Okay. All right. Let me take a quick break. You are listening to Community Heartbeat presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. Not just a show. This is a movement dedicated to bringing our community together through wellness. I'm EBONY SsALI. Happy Friday 13th. We will be right back. Welcome back to Community Purpose, presented by Outreach Community Health Center. It's not just a show. This is a movement. I am EBONY SsALI. Happy Friday 13th. It is also Men's Health Month. So let me just curve. We talk myths and facts and superstitions, health superstitions in the first bit of the show. But let me just do my salute to all the gentlemen. I talk often. Both of my parents are remarried, so I'm blessed to have both my dad and my pops, both super dope dudes, just surrounded by a community of super dope men. So happy Father's Day to all the gentlemen out there. Thank you for all that you do. Seen and unseen. Just know that you are appreciated by all the women in your lives.
Do you think that there's a difference between a daddy and a father?
Oh my God, yes. Oh
okay,
my God.
I just want to be certain.
As I was thinking about this, I was like, how do you explain the difference between that and men who are present and not? So as I was thinking about how to build this segment, I said to myself, your pops, your dad, your father, the guy that's like there is the one that's helping you ride the bike. And instead of the training wheels, he's gonna let you run into the bush and fall off in the bush, right? Like that's a dad. They're teaching you those life lessons, right? And just to get up, get yourself together. The showcase of buying things and doing all that, that's not where the parenting happens. It happens in those little moments that make all the difference. So growing up, my dad was the one with riddles and codexes and like figure this thing out. So I think that's why I'm into puzzles and that kind of thing now. But it takes a village. So I will say as a daddy's girl, as a girl who grew up in a community where I felt most comfortable, I didn't have to quote unquote put on. So with the girls in my neighborhood, it was very superficial. It was very let's braid our hair. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Can we how about we go play football over there? Like, we're outside. Let's have some fun. To this day, Ebony cannot jump double dutch. Can I just say that? I'm in awe. But yeah, I don't have that skill. So shout out to the dads. For the daddies girls, make sure you love on your pops this weekend. For the wives, make sure you love on your hubbies, right? Because half of the population are of the gentleman's stature, right? Behave yourself right out is what I'm saying. But shout out to you. I will say too, I went to go get lined up yesterday. My barber basically yelled at me, right? Because I did not have an appointment. Oh. And let me tell you, I didn't understand, right? So I was like, I'll just call him. Hey, I'm on my way. Girl, it's Father's Day weekend. You think I'm just sitting around just chilling, twiddling my thumb? Like, I just need a lining, sir. But to see all the dads there with their sons, that warmed my heart a little bit. There was one little dude. We had the same haircut. He had his little locks at the top. So I was like, hey, sweetie, we got the same haircut. He was like, we do. Why are you talking to me? Stranger danger. So this weekend, love on your pops and do all that you can to thank them for being great gentlemen. Outreach has a couple other things going on. Like I said, we'll be at Juneteenth next week, every Tuesday, going forward through the summer. So initially, we had planned to only have this through June, but we're pushing it through. Harm reduction programming happens every Tuesday from 1:30 to 3:30 at Outreach Community Health Center. What is harm reduction, right out? You're like, what is that? What does that mean? We got some folks in our community that are having a difficult time coping, right? And I'm going to say a few things in life make coping easier. One of those is substance use. So let's keep it all the way real. If you are having issues with substance abuse, you can come to Outreach Community Health Centers every Tuesday from 1:30 to 3:30 and get connected with that programming. On June 26th, that's a Thursday, we have the detective dinner happening at the Hyatt. So it's like a whodunit program where we are honoring 3 pillars in our community in healthcare. So if you don't have tickets for that, go to ochc-milw.org to get tickets for the detective dinner. On Saturday, July 27th, we are also celebrating the men's. Right out. Are you a runner? Let me ask you that. Are you a track star? Is that what you do? Are you a runner?
Now I am. I mean, now that I got my ankle fixed.
This is true. This is true. Well, there is a 5K that is a salute to the gentleman in our community. That is happening on Saturday, July 27th. That's with Matthew Johnson. So we had him on the show last year to talk about the run. We will be back there as a sponsor this year in the Health Pavilion. We will have Matthew on in July to talk about it. But running is a great way to stay healthy. I'm going to just put that out there. And it doesn't cost a lot. So a lot of times we think we got to build out the full home gym to get back in shape. You don't. Just get outside, put your tennis shoes on, and go for a run. So if you are interested in that, you will have the opportunity to sign up. And we should probably do a team. Right out. Would you join our team to do a run? We're not looking for speed. We're looking for consistency, right out. We're looking for the completion of the thing.
Oh, well, since you put it like that, we still gonna lose.
Yeah, fair. I will say this, whenever I watch like the marathon in the sports chat, I'm like, yeah, number one is cool. But I want to know who comes in absolutely last. Like, who is the last person across the finish line? That's who deserves the respect, because they had every opportunity to quit. They had every opportunity to give up, and they still crossed the line. So to those runners, it does not matter necessarily where you place, but that you finish. So make sure you're getting outside, doing something active. And then, of course, on August 9th, where you going to be, right out? It's only one place to be.
Well, that's the day before my birthday.
Okay. And then, so happy birthday at the Community Health and Resource Fair. Like, I don't understand. That's where you need to be.
Well,
August 9th.
Where I'm going to be at for my pre-birthday celebration.
Yeah.
I'm going to be with y'all.
Okay, because I might have a t-shirt in it. Listen,
I like t-shirts.
You know what I'm saying? A little tote bag, little produce take with you, make you up something nice on your birthday. Listen, do the things. So the Community Health and Resource Fair is happening on Saturday, August 9th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you're interested in being a sponsor, please hit the website, sign up. I will be at all these events. So let me tell you what I did yesterday. I went and got me some vitamins, darling, because let me tell you, it's about to go down. Okay. All summer long. So if you see me outside, say hey. Come over and say hey. I don't bite on Saturdays. But now listen, them other days of the week. It's wild. So we talked harm reduction. Better Ways to Cope programming is still happening at Outreach. One of the other things I'm excited about is the lead crisis is progressing in Milwaukee's reaction to it. So was it last week? Last week, we were at City Hall talking about what the city is doing and implementing to remediate the lead and make sure that our students are growing up in a healthy environment. So openings for well child checks. You got some babies in your life, right out. They go to MPS, right? They're outside. They're playing with kids. They go to MPS. They're in the same environments. And the opportunities for lead poisoning are high. Now, with that being said, we have learned that there is no amount of lead in the blood that's good. Okay, so you can't just say, well, it's just a little bit. Drinking just a little bit of bleach is okay. No, there is no safe amount, right? Like just a little bit of emission it's just right. None of it is good. So to make sure that your babies are in the best situation going back into school, don't wait till the last minute, because we do that, don't we? We wait till the last minute to get the sports physical like the day before it's due, and then we mad because we've been practicing all summer and we want to make sure we get in. Get your babies tested for lead today. 414-727-6320, asking for a well child check. We've got openings for that. And that will be one of the focuses we have going throughout the summer, is just to make sure that our babies are good. So Outreach, community health centers, Milwaukee's lead crisis, opening for scheduling your well child checks. There were a couple schools that were cleared to go back to that have taken care of their lead problem. Let me put it that way. So you can check out our website to see the updates for that. I'm excited. In the second hour, we're going to be talking about our family medicine residency program. And again, just what the gentlemen need to do. Right out. We're going to nag y'all this year. This is the year of nagging. We're going to ask really nicely. We're going to say, can you go in and get checked?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and then we're gonna have to step it up in urgency and say, now we gotta withhold some things if the things are not being actively pursued. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I most definitely.
You might not get that hot meal if you're not getting checked out. Is all I'm saying. That's all I'm put.
And I like hot meals, so I'm going to get checked out.
So you got to go get checked. Yeah, we talked about this. If your car is gonna be outside, on the freeway, okay, you want to make sure your tires are right. Again,
make sure you got tread on your tires. Yeah.
Yes, is all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm, and we're moving on. Next topic. We don't have a wait list happening at Outreach, so you can actually call today. What's today? Friday. You can get in to be seen this week, right? I mean, tread on tires. We're gonna talk about that during the break. But I will say with that, we do tend to have a lot of fun on this show. So I am working hard to make sure that we pull all these clips. We put them all together because the reality is this: we are on social media all the time and we are picking up our health information online. So I'm working to just put these little clips into small, digestible, shareable clips for us to share for our community. Because really, it's about to get scary. Like I do add some levity to it. I do try to have fun with it. But let's be real. We're doomed. Right, Devo? Right. We are responsible for us. That's the way I put it. I won't be doom and gloom. I will say it is now time for us to pay attention to the food that we're eating. It's up to us to pay attention to the environment that we're in. So making sure these schools are accountable, making sure our community is accountable, because it's on us. It really and truly is. So if you out there, you have information to share, get at me. Let me know. I want to encourage everybody to follow Community Heartbeat on all your social platforms. I want you to follow Outreach on all your social platforms. This summer, I'm going to make a concerted effort to put this information up and out and make sure that we're sharing it, because the CDC is still down. The World Health Organization's websites are still down, and you have professionals that have been silenced across the industry. So me and my big mouth will make sure that I'm taking care and doing my part. So when we get to men's health, y'all got a lot that you got to pay attention to, right? Listen, as your little sis, big sis, homegirl from around the way, cousin, I went and I pulled down all the issues that affect men's health across life stages. And it's a lot going on. So again, over the course of the next hour, we'll get into some of those key health issues and what kind of testing you need. So I just pulled from pediatric to geriatric. What are some of the conditions? And of course, like many things in our life, in our community, these things hit us harder than they do other communities. So we started the show talking about myths, talking about these things that kind of are generationally pulled down and taught, but the developmental delays, right? So we get these babies and they're not speaking by a certain age, right? We get these babies and they're acting up in class. We got the developmental delays. That hits our community harder, right? So I'm going to challenge us that when we see issues like our little baby cousin down the street is not speaking at the milestones he should be, let's not wait to get those things analyzed. Get the care you need. Earlier is always better. So 414-727-6320 is the number for you to call. Make sure that babies are meeting their motor, their speech, their cognitive milestones. But let me break this down to what it actually means. I was the parent, the mom, who was nervous about everything. Like, is my baby growing big enough? Is she at the right weight? Is her vision good? So one of the things that after studying developmental psychology for babies, and really I did it for my family's sake, but one of the things is how they pick up toys, right? How do they pick up cereal? So did you know the reason that not Cheetos, look, greedy, Ebony is greedy. Cheerios. One of the reasons Cheerios cereal is so popular is because it trains babies to be able to pick up smaller things and put them into their mouth.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
So it's not because the cereal is superior. Okay. I didn't know that.
I thought it was the harmony on that song. It's honey of
Listen, the bee is one of us. Oh, okay. Can we just absorb that? From a brand side. Yeah. So that's still connected. That's the marketing thing.
But I never knew that
the bee is one of them.
That's what it does. It teaches them
to pick up with their grasp to be able to put that into their mouth. So things like green beans, apples, you want to get to your kids because it's not only nutritious, but it's also helping them developmentally. So just making sure our babies are fed. Now, I brought this up on this show. Usually by now you see the summer meal programs coming up. You see, the kids can go and get a sandwich and some fruit and juice. I have not seen that this year.
I think that's because of the current administration.
And again, I haven't even, for my spirit's sake, now, I have not even gone in to look at the new doom and gloom today. We're going to talk about LA for like 2 minutes, but not yet. We're going to talk about it for 2 seconds. The nutrition piece, Milwaukee, get close to the radio, get close to the screen if you're listening online. It is going to be up to us to feed these babies this summer. This is on us. So before I see you outside, I made a post the other week. Before we go outside and talk about how we flashy this summer, can we make sure our babies can read? So before we go out and we post our pictures on social media about how we balling and we're on I'll speak to me, patio season, and I'm outside and this is what I'm eating, make sure we've at least supported one child to have food in their mouth this summer. Okay, so I need all of us to do that. Divine Nine, churches, civic organizations, this is our time. This is where we shine. I don't want to see not one person strolling this summer if you don't have an initiative to feed the babies. Okay, so that's a challenge I'm putting into all of us. Immunizations, right? I'm not going to look at you.
Yeah, please.
Immunizations, don't. But the babies. Okay, there is no reason why we are back to polio. There is no reason why we're back to measles. Get the babies immunized. Now, let me see what I pulled up, right out. Let me see what I pulled up. These babies, I'm going to have to put this chart on the website. Listen, the babies need all of their vaccines on time, each and every time. So from birth to about 6 weeks, there are 2 vaccines that are needed. About 6 months, they're already into 4 and 5 vaccines. So what I need you to do is, new parents, new moms, new dads, I know life is wild. I know that there are many things that compete with your for your attention. Vaccination should not be one of them. It is up to us to protect those who can't protect themselves, right? Get your babies vaccinated. And guess who does vaccinations right out?
Who's that?
Let me tell you. Outreach Community Health.
Okay.
Don't start none.
I'm just saying.
414-727-6320. No cost to low cost, depending. I think flu and chicken pox may have a small fee associated with them. But give us a call, get connected, make sure you do what is needed. So then that's just like from birth to the 6 years. Then you get the babies that are like 7 to 12. Whole different group of issues that come along at that age group. So you have the diagnosis of learning disabilities. You have obesity that tends to set in around that age. One of the things I pulled down was asthma, right? So to connect this with the first block of the show, some of the superstitions I thought growing up is that all Black children had asthma. Like, I didn't even think that there was a different way. Everybody, I won't say everybody, most of the kids in my neighborhood had asthma, right? And if you think about it, the prevalence of asthma should not be that high in concentrated areas. So what causes that? Bug spray in your house, pest control in your house. So an example of how environmental causes can trigger health issues, you got pest control and asthma. And I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm not going to say how our structure has created that environment. I'll just leave it there. However, it is still up to us to make sure the babies are healthy. So asthma, allergies, outreach community health centers. Vision and hearing. Parents, I'm not beating us up. This is Ebony. I'm walking with you. I'm not beating you up. But our babies can't see in the classroom. Our babies are in the back of the classroom and they cannot read the board because no one has provided glasses for them. Okay. It is quite possible that your child before the age of 10 might need glasses. That is going to impede how they learn. I can't even imagine not being able to read the chalkboard or read a book because I could not see. So if you are having issues with your child behaviorally in class, let me just say, take a step back, get them checked for how they learn, and then get them just a regular old eye exam. And then the last thing I'll say in this youth piece is accident and injury prevention. It is only by the grace of God that I have never broken a bone. Okay. It is only by the grace of God that I have not been like those dogs we talked about in the first episode and been hit by a car or a truck or for the foolish things I did growing up. We had a hill, a bump, I'll say, in our alley. And the way we used to ride our bikes full speed and hit that bump, it's amazing that I have all of my teeth, right? Jumping off a roof or falling out of a tree. It's just really amazing that I am intact. Wow. So around that age, that 7 to 12 years, that's where you're doing a lot of foolishness, just unnecessary foolishness.
Yeah, because I bet you, though, you won't do it now.
I mean, listen, I sleep the wrong way.
Yeah. If I move the wrong way,
you sneeze too hard. Like, is that my spleen?
Yeah.
Like, what is really going on? So you need a primary care provider, right? At that age, 7 to 12, you're doing things that are reckless, fun, character building, social experiment things. But listen, it can be difficult. So make sure you got a PCP before your kid is jumping off the roof. 414-727-6320. And that just gets up to the adolescent years. Now, that age group, that 13 to 17, also a fun time. Yeah. Would you agree?
Oh, most definitely.
Did you have a little fun? Debo, did you have fun 13 to 17 years old? Was that? Oh, you were just reading. You're just.
I was at church all the time.
Really?
Well, really? It wasn't quite boring, but.
Because you know your pastor. Where your pastor? What was church home at that age group?
So I'm gonna leave that alone. Can we move on?
Oh, fair.
Are you on that Rehoboth then?
Look, there's documentation. He said keep it moving.
I just want to put my business in the street, you know.
I did a little bit of church choir. I did a little bit, but let me be honest.
Those were some fun times.
Let me be honest. I was there for the summer league at the church. Let me just be. I was there for that, and then ironically, I went to coach the boys at our church league, which was a whole thing. We had a Y league. We played different YMCAs at the time, and for me it was funny because I would walk in with my boys. Shout out to them. I hope they are all upstanding gentlemen in this community. But I had the idea that me helping them stay off the street, give them a safe space to assemble. Yeah. And if that meant that I had to pick them up, if that meant I had to stay with them late at practice, help them in school, that was something I was willing to step up and do. Right. But it was funny because I would walk in with my team, only female coach, right? They'd be like, look at them scrubs, them scrubs. And then on the way out, after we would win, I'd be like, toodles, with my little rap, right? I had my little rap, my little sports shirt on, like, because we stayed winning. But for me, it was about making sure that they made good choices during that particular time of their lives. Keep them away from them little fast tail girls, little fast tail girls. Wow. So again, to my boys who trusted me throughout a couple summers to keep them off the streets, I appreciate you. And I hope you are doing well. So adolescents 13 to 17 also still making some risky choices. So get a primary care provider for your babies. 414-727-6320. That gets us to 18 to 25. What was you doing, Debo, between 18 and 25? Can we talk about that age?
Anything I felt like.
Right out. What were you up to? Fair. Where's the crickets? Was that the crickets? But do we need to?
I give you the crickets real good. You want to hear the crickets? There
they
go.
Yeah.
1825.
You sure is being real nosy this morning.
I am. I'm just in there because we don't think about life in.
But don't ask about specific.
I didn't
times
say names and dates
in a man's life. Don't ask about specific
you
times.
Ask me, I'm gonna tell.
When you were thinking about it, was you was answering her question in your head first before you spoke, so you didn't stutter?
Yep, that's what it was. See, I was saying to myself,
self.
Don't
and myself said, "Huh? What was you doing?"
I was being an upstanding member of the community. I was serving soup kitchens. Was
nothing like that for us.
No, man. I think from me, I was here, there, and everywhere.
No, I was well aligned. I would say by 23, I was married, house, kid. Like locked it down, right? And then I get what y'all saying now. We moving on. We moving on. I get where you going.
Everybody, there was some issues, man.
I'm trying to tell you, man. And we are moving on.
Bada ping, bada boom.
Every time. Okay, so 18 to 25, great time in life. Just make sure you're safe. That's all I'm saying. We do have supplies. So listen. Let me just flip back to that page. If you're going to be outside, make sure your tires have tread. If you need items for your sexual health screenings, Outreach also has you. So 414-727-6320. Make sure you protect yourself. That's all I'm saying. But then you go right from outside wilding, acting up, right into hypertension. Like that whole hop from one place to another is real. So you get into that 26 to 55. You got to make sure you don't have high blood pressure. Make sure you don't have diabetes, cardiovascular disease, mental health and burnout, prostate health, infertility, like it goes on and on. So I'm going to say, if you are listening, you are between 26 and 55. This is the time for you to get for real about your health. Gentlemen, this is where disease sets in and it sets you up 30 years from now. If you're going to have an active retirement, you're going to have an active retirement. Okay. You need to take care of it. So that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say. My mother's listening right out. My mother's listening. Debo. He's wild. Hypertension, blood pressure. We know that's in our community more. Why? Is it because we like to eat? Is it because we like to eat the wrong things? Is it because we don't work out? It's all of that. So 26 to 55. Get in and get checked out. Then we move to the mature adult phase. The mature 56 to 80. We got everything going on there. Hearing and vision loss, arthritis and joint pain, which we debunked. Cracking your knuckles at 15 does not give you arthritis at 56, right? But you got colon, lung, skin cancer that do become prevalent. So make sure you get in, you get things checked. That's really the message I want to leave you with, is make sure that you're getting these things checked. So if you do get these conditions, you can be taken care of. And then we get into the geriatric. That's the part you just don't care at that point. 81. And when I say don't care, I mean you don't monitor the things you say at 81, because anybody can catch the hands, right? Cognitive decline. But on a serious note, you have the dementia, you have the Alzheimer's, making sure that you're eating well, getting into those years, staying active into those years is the way that you can stave off some of those diseases. So when we come back, check my break. Nope, we got a couple more minutes. We are going to talk to one of our family medicine residency program residents. And he's going to come in and tell us from the male point of view, because again, I'm just the homegirl, the sister, cousin down the street. So I can only implore you to go and get these things checked out. And that's what we're going to do. So when we come back, I got a couple questions for the doc. We'll talk about what the gentlemen in our lives need to do. You are listening to Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. Not just a show. This is a movement dedicated to bringing our communities together through wellness, keeping your heart pumping with positivity. I'm EBONY SsALI. We will be right back. Listen, it's not just a show. This is a movement dedicated to bringing our community together through wellness, keeping your heart pumping with positivity. I am EBONY SsALI. It is Friday the 13th, but it's a lucky day in here. So we have debunked some myths. We talked about men's health, and I get to kick it with one of our family medicine residents. Now, Dr. Tarajan Ganendran. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Names are important. So welcome. Let me tell y'all a little bit about Dr. TJ. Can I say Dr. TJ? Okay. Now listen, y'all know I love some credentials on this show. So let me run them down. Dr. TJ was born in Toronto, Canada, and has always been passionate about teaching. He believes that education is a vital tool in caring for underserved populations, which led him to pursue primary care in Milwaukee. He also recognizes that to effectively teach, he must be a lifelong learner. While attending medical school in the Caribbean, because people, it's a divide on that. In the Caribbean, one of his most meaningful experiences was participating in health fairs, meeting people from diverse backgrounds, often facing significant barriers to care, which deepened his commitment to help them overcome those challenges. He realizes that medicine goes beyond making a diagnosis. It's about tailoring care to each individual's unique life circumstances. Welcome to Community Heartbeat.
I appreciate being here. Thank you.
Yes. So I've got you down as your areas of interest: preventative care, geriatrics, sports medicine. But I'm going to start right at the top. When did you fall in love with medicine? Like, when did medicine become the thing?
Yeah, like when I was in high school, I didn't really know what to do, right? Like what I wanted to do in the future. And then I started volunteering at a gift shop in a hospital, near my house.
Okay.
And I think just listening to conversations from family members, not my family, but customers in the gift shop, just talking about their health and talking about seeing doctors and stuff. It kind of got me interested. I wanted to be kind of a part of that conversation, and it kind of just went from there.
Yeah, you were like, I think I could be a part of making families more comfortable from the other side of medicine. So I appreciate that. So you are at Outreach Community Health Centers, and you are actually doing the things that are listed in your bio. So many of people in Milwaukee are facing significant barriers. Are there maybe one or two things that you see in this residency program that kind of bubble up to the top?
Of the barriers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think knowledge, right? In terms of what they have access to, right?
Okay.
I think things they're Medicaid, Medicare, how to apply for that stuff. How are you, I think people can apply to Medicaid, but a lot of times they don't renew it. Right.
Because we just assume that it
just goes forever, and sometimes people feel because with Medicaid, they send you mail to renew it.
Because junk mail.
Yeah, it's junk mail. Or if you have stressors and things like that, and you're moving and you kind of miss it. Yeah. Some homeless people, you can list your if you're a shelter or a friend's house as an address. It doesn't have to be where you live. It just has to be an address, right? An address. So things like that,
Now that's good. Look, let me write that down. So just having a home base is just the way I put that. Right? It's the base. It's important. So let's get into kind of your philosophy of medicine. So in your bio, you say that it goes beyond making a diagnosis, right? It's really tailoring care to people. When you think about why you practice medicine, why you're in this community, is there something that pushes you to get up every day and make it happen?
Yeah, I think like you mentioned in the bio, it's just the education of it, right? I think we can, tell patients what to do based off of guidelines, but you have to feel like they're gonna follow through with it, right?
True.
It's not, we can't just tell them what to do just to feel better about it. It has to be okay, if they don't want to take a bunch of medication,
smoothie diet, I don't want to do that. I want to eat the cheese.
If they don't like smoothies or whatever. Right. So I think, it has to be coming up with a plan, collaborating with them, I think that's kind of the part I enjoy. Right. just listing off things, because I think patients will just kind of nod their head all the time,
and know good and well that they are not going to comply, right?
You might not see them again,
Oh, green vegetables, and then and broccoli for breakfast. Yeah, I got you, doc. And then go home like, you know what? We're eating these eggs. We're eating all the things we probably shouldn't. So it's Men's Health Month. And I can share the resources that I find, but it does help to have the men's perspective. So what are some of kind of the simple everyday things that, aren't, you can only eat green leafy vegetables? What are some of the things that men can do to support not only their physical health, but their mental health?
I think like one of the most important things we can do is like start taking it seriously, because I think the numbers are kind of showing that we're not. Like life expectancy for men is like 5 years less, globally, and I think in the United States it's like 6 years, right? And that gap between men and women, like the life expectancy, that's like the highest it's been in decades, right?
It's crazy.
I know. And it's like, men like are more often will die from like major causes like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, suicide, occupational, like workplace related deaths, right? And I think there's like cancer mortality, like they'll die more, like 50% more, like a higher risk of dying from cancer. It's like 50%, right? They're like 4 times higher risk of dying from suicide. 88% of like workplace related deaths are like involving men, right?
And it's for me, and I know there's no like good mortality, but it's so unnecessary.
Right.
Like you don't have to die from cancer, right? It's the regular screenings, it's the nutrition, it's the factors that are around that. We don't have to have suicide rates that are as high as they do.
Right.
Culturally, we have to make it okay to talk through things, right? Like very, very simply, just being able to sit and be still and talk about the challenges with folks, professionals, because I know we love to, from the women's standpoint, I say we like to get in our little girl groups and talk, but to have a professional that can walk you through that is extremely important. I agree. With things like hypertension, just kind of from the gut, are there any reasons, any causes you think men don't go in to get checked regularly for things that are so readily preventable?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things with that. I think it's like it could be like psychological, right? I think like masculinity plays a huge role in like shaping the way men approach their health, right? I think like boys from a young age will, they're taught to like value like strength, independence, emotional control, right? So, I think that discourages them from, seeking out,
gentlemen,
care.
You gotta know that, like, just go make a commitment to yourself, right? Like the strength is great, it's phenomenal, but make sure that you're not like strong man here, but heart disease over here. You got to make sure.
It's tough.
Yeah, that's why you need the women in your life. Just nagging. I told right out that's our role in life, is just to nag. Like, hey, should we maybe have a salad today? Hey, should we? So those are things that I think are important. Let me ask, since you have more of a continental view, right, coming from Canada, do you have these same kinds of issues in Canada where men don't take health seriously, or is that something that's kind of a U.S. phenomenon?
No, for sure. I think Canada has the same problems, right? I think, like in primary care, like our big pillars are like preventative medicine, right? Chronic disease management, like supporting patients. So that's a huge thing in Canada as well. Like the only real difference is like the payer model, like it's a single payer model
that y'all have coverage, and
the government covers a lot of our healthcare expenses, but it comes from our taxes, so that's like the other side of it.
Listen, don't take me that we were during the break, we were talking governmental relations, and that's a huge piece. So we won't even go down that. That is a steep place. But would you say that just looking at the Canadian model, that there's more of a focus on the preventative care, that, go in regularly, these are the screenings, these are the vaccinations? Would you say that's a bigger piece of the pie than it is here in the US?
Yeah, I think Canada, because of that payer model, it's more accessible, but so more people want to see the doctor. The problem is we don't have enough providers there, right? It's the other side. Here we have we have a good amount of providers, right? But the problem is like access. But here it's over there, it's kind of the other side, and there's like longer wait times and things like that.
Got it. So the truth is we are responsible for ourselves, and it's going to be up to us to have the nutrition piece, to have the physical piece. I mean, if you really think about it, if you can get quality nutrition, if you can move your body and you get a circle around you that's a network,
right,
you kind of cover most of the basics.
The thing is, like, what I've seen from like my training so far, like working in primary care, it's like men, like they have all the answers, like most of the time, like they know they got to eat right, they know they got to quit smoking, they know, they got to get regular checkups, but that knowledge doesn't always like turn into action, right?
Indeed. But listen, our whole program is to make sure that the appointments are available, that you can get in. So wait times are pretty minimal. I mean, if you call today, you can get an appointment in for next week. So 414-727-6320 is the number. You can call, make an appointment with Dr. TJ. He's good people. Good people. One thing I will say, I note when I'm bopping around the clinic and I'll come down there is you all are like in groups and you're talking through it, and you're coming up with solutions. So let me just say thank you for taking this role on and coming in and being a part of that model, because I think in this community specifically, you get a lot of people who gloss over stuff, right? It's like, we don't have time to put our heads together for that. So you all are definitely making an impact. Let me ask you, since preventative care is your jam, is your thing, what role does preventative care play kind of in men's health specifically? So if you said, hey, gentlemen, you can prevent a lot of these issues by doing this, and this. How important is the preventative care?
I think the problem is like many of the chronic diseases that affect men are like usually silent for a long period of time, right? Like high blood pressure.
Let me write that down. Okay.
High blood pressure, like high cholesterol, diabetes, like they won't feel anything for years, only until like the damage is done, right? So it kind of creates this like sense of like invincibility a little bit, like, like this bias where like the absence of symptoms is the same as the absence of risk, right?
Oh, but let me write that down. Write that down, because you're absolutely right. The absence of symptoms is not the absence of disease, right?
Right.
Okay.
And so like that's what we try to do in the clinic. Like, when you come in and you get your blood pressure checked, like we try to tell you like this is your blood pressure, right? It's personal to you, right? These are your, this is what it means, and these are your risks, right? So when now you're creating this personal relationship instead of this thing that's kind of like abstract, right? This
on the
is
poster,
yours,
that's them,
right?
Them. Okay.
So I think then people, when it's more personal, they'll take it like more seriously, right? I think that helps a little bit, right?
So I'm writing that on here. Make it personal. Right. But yes, that's one of the things. And so people come in, they get the checks. Do you work with them kind of throughout that condition? Do you share? It's not a one visit thing,
right?
Is what I'm asking.
Like the nice thing about preventative care is like it helps us build a relationship with patients, right? Okay. Especially like patients that in the past would avoid like healthcare services due to like stigmatization or negative experiences in the past, right?
Yeah.
I think we can like collaborate together, right? And kind of like figure out like what matters to you, like, and how does your health play a role in that, right? Like, what do you want to do in the next 5 years? Is there anything about your health gonna like stop you from doing that, right?
Indeed. No, I like the way you frame that. So I think of like if we break these age groups down, like we did in the previous segment, and we look at maybe that 40 to 50, those are the folks that are looking to be grandfathers, right? So you might frame it that you want to be here with your grandkids. Like you want to throw the ball around with your grandkids. So taking care of your heart is important, not just because it's the right thing to do, but you want to be here for your grandkids, right? Is that how you would frame it?
Yeah, kind of like that. It's like, okay, what do you want to do in the next 5 years? And they say, I want to be like, play with my grandkids. Like, how does your blood pressure play a role in that? Like, do you think if you don't control your blood pressure, you wouldn't be able to play with your grandkids? You kind of like turn it around a little bit and you kind of have a conversation about it, right?
Makes sense.
And then now you kind of correlate playing with your grandkids with your high blood pressure, right?
And getting active. So although you may not want to have the broccoli turnover, I shout out to broccoli. Let me just say I love broccoli, but it's got to have a little cheese on it. Got to have a little flavor with it. Just a little bit.
True.
Listen, that's my vice, Doc. When I go down They cut me open for the autopsy and be like, it's all cheese in here. It's basically just dairy in here. It's creams, it's cheeses. Is that brie? Like, what is that in there? Like, so I know my own bias. That'll be what it is. But being able to frame it in a way that makes sense to people individually, I think is important. So let's go on that 5 to 10 years. We know that the healthcare system is not perfect. What are some of the things you would like to see kind of care, primary care, preventative care, focus on in men's health over that next 5 years? So looking at it from the side where you all are training and training in different specialties, what would you like to see in the next 5 to 10 years?
In the next 5 to 10 years, I'd like to see it shift from like right now, it's like more of like a narrow kind of like path where we only see men when there's like a problem, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And I'd like to I hope to see it like widen out a bit, like a more like system-wide approach where we're like more like meeting men where they are, maybe like in community spaces, workplaces, schools, right?
Okay.
Like I think schools aren't really equipped to have conversations about, maybe like they have maybe a little bit, but like nutrition, mental health, preventative care, things like that, people's workplaces, if they're working long hours and they're not getting paid sick leave, it's gonna push them away from getting regular health checks, right?
Yeah. I would even add to, I think, workplaces who put a focus on wellness. Like I looked at, the amount of sick time you're allotted. And I thought to myself, well, I get sick rarely, right? So it's usually my allergies are keeping my eyes from opening, or, every now and then I'll have like stomach issues or that kind of thing. But for the most part, I don't take a lot of sick time. I would love to see that flip into wellness, because some days I just need a massage, right? Like I just need to close down my computer and go or sit by a beach,
right?
To
I agree,
right? Like
a wellness day, not like you have to call in and you have to make up a sickness.
Like I'm sick,
just like I can't come in today, right?
Like no, nice. I'd be a better human if I could go out and get a massage today. Right. I'm not sick, but that would make me
right.
So a shift in that preventative care to the health and wellness. I love that. So moving like. We talked about the barbershop, right? Having a place where men gather, where men get connected, putting healthcare in those spaces.
That's huge. Like I think like if we can like get like people like that, like people like barbers, coaches, pastors, and like kind of teach them to be like advocates for preventative care, because I think men will take it more to heart if it's from someone they trust, right?
They'll listen to their barber before they listen to their girl.
They don't know who I am, right?
Shameful. It's shameful. But I mean, listen, it will take all of us to make sure we keep the men in our community healthy. Right. You are listening to Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Centers. I'm in the studio with Dr. TJ from our family medicine residency program. When we come back, we'll talk about a few more things that the gentlemen in our lives can do during Men's Health Month. We will be right back.
AURN News. I'm Jamie Jackson. A new report finds that in more than 200 suburbs across the country, renters now outnumber homeowners. That marks a big change in how Americans live outside the cities. The data comes from Point Two Homes, which looked at suburbs in the 20 largest metro areas. Since 2018, many of these suburbs have seen a rise in renters. This is especially
Welcome back to Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach Community Health Center. I'm EBONY SsALI in the studio with Dr. TJ, part of our family medicine residency program. And if you are just tuning in, you haven't been with us for the past year or so, you're like, what is a residency program? What does that even mean, Ebony? What does that mean? Well, the mission of the MCW Family Medicine Residency Program is to train family physicians with the expertise and skills to provide individualized, evidence-based, and culturally competent care to patients and families. So we currently have 28 residents inside of Outreach Community Health Centers. And what they are doing is training. So I do like to debunk a myth.
Right.
Y'all are doctors. Okay.
Right.
This is not some
Right.
science project, not some school, high school situation.
Right.
These are physicians. And they are in our clinic to learn that cultural competency, but also teach us, because most of you all are global citizens, if you will. So you're bringing that knowledge from the things that might be the same to the things that are different, and bringing that cultural relevance into the clinic. And I think for us, that's what makes it different. So I was just sharing during the break, when I'm zipping through the clinic and I'm watching them and how they're brainstorming and how they're putting their resources together, I kind of feel a little sense of pride, like, oh, that's us. That's how we're doing. That's what we do.
Yeah, our program's like a little bit more diverse, I think. So people have different perspectives. So that collaboration is like pretty good.
It's dope. Now listen, I had a aha moment about maybe 6 months ago, because Grey's Anatomy is like one of my favorite shows. Right? I'm like, they're the Grey's Anatomy of outreach, right? So if I walk by and I'm like, he giggling in the corner, that's why. I'm like, look at them, they're Grey's Anatomy in outreach. But we are bringing in 10. Let me get my words right. 10 additional residents this summer into the program. So the rationale for doing that is to make sure that we're reducing those barriers to care. Right. So for so many years, Milwaukee has been not only a food desert, but has been a medical desert, so to speak. So we've got a great facility. So you get that beauty in where you practice. Now this is just me being very particular. You got to be clean, right? Like it can't look unpolished, and the center in and of itself looks well. And then you've got these brilliant minds together. So no excuses. 414-727-6320 is the number to schedule an appointment. If you call today, you can get in next week. So Dr. TJ, tell me this, as you are working in family medicine at Outreach, a lot of things have gotten you to this point. So is there like a situation, a story that you can share with us, maybe in your past, that shows, reminds you why you do this work? You know, where it's this is why I get up and do this every day.
Yeah. Well, I'm like early in my training. I'm like a first year, right?
Okay.
But I remember there was a patient. It wasn't that far in the past, but it's like he came in for like, his blood pressure wasn't controlled. Like he came from the emergency department. I think they started him on like 3 medications, and then he came into the clinic and he said he didn't take any of them, because he said he didn't like the effects it was having on him, right? But sometimes we can get like lost in the numbers, right? Then the blood pressure number is real high, right?
Yeah.
And then we start focusing on that, like you have to take these medications, you have to get that number down, right?
Yeah.
But we're like ignoring his concerns, right? Like we talked about earlier, like the high blood pressure. He's not feeling the high blood pressure right now.
So there's no symptoms. He thinks that's absence of disease, right?
Right. But at the same time, he's feeling the effects of the medications, right?
Yep.
And we're ignoring that and focusing on the numbers, right?
Yeah.
So even initially I was like pushing, like, you got to take these meds, like, but he was like, no. And, but then eventually then I started listening to him, and then we started like kind of working together on it. Like, okay, what can we do? You don't want to take 3 of these. And then we ended up, deciding to like, he was okay to take 1, because one of the medications he took for a while. So he didn't have bad effects with it. But, and that's a win, right? Because he came in taking none of them, and then he left with taking 1, right? But maybe someone watching that might be like, that one medication isn't going to help his like pressure go down that much. But, it's a start, right? It's baby steps. And I feel like I'm more confident. Like I was more confident after that. Like, okay, he's going to take this medication more religiously, right?
Yep.
Compared to if I just told him to take 3 and he takes none of them and then I never see him again, right?
That's the individualized care, right? What you got right
out. A caller just called and they couldn't be on the air, but they wanted you to explain what is residence.
See, Milwaukee. Your homegirls got you. So I said the same thing. I was like, now tell me, Lord, what is this residency program? So if you actually go to Outreach's website, let me give you that website, OCHC-MILW/MCW. What I have done is on this website, I have added a section to explain the difference between attending physicians, resident physicians, advanced practice providers, medical assistants, nurses, and medical students, because that is a big piece, right?
Right.
Residents are doctors, so just drive that part home for me. Of how you all move through medical school. Make that make sense for me.
Yeah, it could be confusing. Like basically, like in order to be a resident, we have to finish medical school. We have to do our state exams, right? You know, medical licensing exams. So we're all licensed, but in order to go on to like start working independently, like we have to finish residency, which is like an internship, right? Where they will work as physicians, but we just have a doctor like overseeing us in case, right? Because you know, we have the knowledge because we've done the exams, but we may not have the experience of, you know, working as a doctor, because you can't really get an experience of working as a doctor until you work as a doctor.
And that explains like what you just explained with the patient. So medical school will say the only way to bring down the blood pressure is these 3 medications, and you must take them, and or else you don't get any results.
You get a stroke or something.
But but the residency program is like, but not everybody's going to do that. So how do you deal with just one medication? How do you build that?
How do you get a patient engaged and things like that? That's not on the exam, right?
Exactly. So that's why I think it's so important in our community, because I think in many instances we've been and I know I'm generalizing, so I know my people out there will say not everybody, but many times our community has been talked down to. So you just got to have 5 fruits and vegetables a day, and that's what you got to do. But it doesn't talk about how, you know, we don't know how to prepare spinach to actually taste good, right? Which we do. We put it in a dip and it's delicious. Right. But making that individualized care. So that's why I thought this program was so important to have on the air, because it humanizes care. Right. Doctors can be scary, and we look and we go, well, they're just going to tell me what I don't want to hear. But understanding that preventative care is really what you prefer, right? Like you prefer not to treat the chronic disease. You prefer to treat.
Like we talked about, like preventative care is like a huge pillar, and, you know, primary care, you know, and, you know, the things we share with patients, like it's not coming out of like, you know, we're not like making it up. Like, you know, we reference like there's these huge organizations like the United States Preventative Task Force we reference a lot. And it's kind of like these organizations, what they do is they take thousands of patients, right? And like from different backgrounds, ages, ethnicities, you know, different chronic conditions. And they compare, like the main goal is what helps the most people in that group, right? Is it like testing at this age versus this stage? Is it this medication versus this medication? So we have all this data, right? We have all this evidence. And that's what we're trying to share with patients. You know, when a patient comes in to get their blood pressure checked, like, you know, you come into the clinic, we always check your blood pressure. And it's like, why? It's because it's easier to treat high blood pressure than treating a stroke, right?
Tell the people, you know, that one more time.
Right.
It's easier to
treat high blood pressure, right? Than treating a stroke, right? You know, when you turn 45, right, we start recommending colonoscopies because it's easier to treat early, you know, colon cancer diagnosis than when it's like spread, you know, throughout your body when it's like advanced stages, right? You know, that's why we talk about like smoking. We always, you know, counsel patients on smoking because smoking is the #1 like preventable cause of death, right? So you always try to help patients like quit smoking. You know, when it comes to like alcohol use, we try to, you know, if you drink more than like 2 drinks a day, there's a lot more risks with it. So we try to counsel you on that.
Glass of wine,
it's
kind of like, right? It's not good. It's not
but like, things like that, you know, mental health, like we screen patients for anxiety and depression. Why? Because it's, you know, it's better to catch it early and address it, you know, than letting it like kind of stay dormant, right?
Indeed,
so it's things
indeed.
like that.
I'm thinking specifically about Jamie Foxx. So comedian, actor, performer, entertainer, and he recently said that he had a stroke, and it was just quote unquote out of nowhere. So I feel like that speaks to the, you don't have any symptoms. Oh, well, I haven't been having headaches. Oh, well, I've been feeling mostly okay. These things can quote unquote come out of nowhere if you're not on the preventative track, right?
Yeah, like it's like you know, there's probably some like stories where it's like these rare causes where there was no you know, red flags that happen. But I think a lot of times, like if you follow up and, you know, we're just going to ask you, you know, if you have high blood pressure, there's just a couple of questions I'm going to ask you every time, right?
Yeah.
Do you have the headaches? Do you have the chest pain? Your legs swollen, things like that. And then maybe one day I'll catch one of the signs, you know, we might catch it early, you know? So it's like, you know.
Well, Doc, I didn't mention this in my first two visits, but
it's hard to like self-reflect and be like, how is everything going in my body? You know, it might be easier when someone just asks you, right?
Right, indeed. No, and I say it's really important to keep like a notebook, a journal. We have our apps in our phone, so a lot of times we can track these things that are happening repeatedly. I know for myself, I still get migraines every now and then, but I'll track when they happen, and there's some things that I'm like, yeah, I'm probably gonna get a headache this week, right? I kind of know hormonally that's gonna happen. So the preventative care is easiest, y'all. 414-727-6320. Make the appointment, get scheduled, and just get the care so that you know what's coming down the pike. Let me ask one question, totally off script. Is there anything that surprised you in the residency program where you're like, let me jot that down, that may be coming into it, besides working in such an awesome building? I mean, yes, we know that. But is there anything that surprised you so far in the program?
You know, when you're coming into residency, you always hear these horror stories like, oh, like, you know, it's going to be a grind and no one really cares about you. But, you know, I think our program's really, really supportive, right? Yeah. And like we can take that wellness day if we need it, right?
Yes.
And a lot of jobs don't have that, right? You know, so having someone like Dr. Garrison, who's our program director, like she really like makes it a point to make us feel supported. And I think that's a really surprising thing that I found out when I came here, right?
I'm going to say shout out to Dr. Camille Garrison. She is a force not only in the city, but really across the country. I think she was nominated as one of the top docs in the city by Milwaukee Magazine. So it is such a privilege to have her in the building and guiding that care. So let me just say before I forget, if you do want more information on the residency program, you can go to the website ochc-milw.org/MCW, and you can find out more about the difference between the residency program. You could see the stellar makeup of our residency program. So y'all are some dope people. Like you can go in and just learn more about what they do. We're working on a feature now where it'll separate what you do and what your specialties are. But we're excited to be able to support you all. And listen, can I be honest, Milwaukee? We kind of never want them to leave. If I'm honest, we want to keep y'all here. I like to say you're the legacies of tomorrow. One thing this city does very well is it loves and protects those that are here. So there's one podiatrist that works in the clinic, living legend, Dr. Renee Soto Robinson, podiatry. She's been a pillar of this community for years. So we hope you don't leave ever, never, ever. We won't pressure you, but I'll gently pressure you. Anything else you want to share with folks? It's Men's Health Month. What do you do to stay healthy? That's right. Are you a runner? You swim? No. Fair.
I try to go to the gym, you know. I'm starting to do a little bit of like the treadmill, you know. But I just trying new things. I think it's personal to you. It's like it's individualized. It's not just because it works for someone, it might not work for you. Just try different things, you know. Try different things at the gym, try this machine, try
I'm
this,
all the way off the wagon. Okay. I grew up very rigid. Right. I grew up very focused. I think at one point I couldn't even get my day started if I didn't have my coffee and my 3 miles. And then I realized that, I could just sit and eat and there's no general coming to yell at me. It's not good. I'm getting back on the horse, y'all. I promise. Because I want to be here for grandkids and all of that. But just in terms of what you do to kind of stay balanced. What do you do to stay balanced? So not even necessarily the physical piece, but the mental health piece.
Yeah, I think just checking in with family, I think having that, relationship and kind of talking about your day and kind of sharing that with somebody, I think that's really helpful. I think just trying to stay humble, try to, I think goal setting is huge, right? For me, I think you should always have 100 goals you want to try to set. And if you hit some of them, just add more to get back to 100 goals again, right?
I just can't check them all off and I'm done at life.
Yeah, you can't just be I'm done, replenish the goals.
Replenish the goals. I like that. I'm putting that on my list. Replenish the goals. Men asking for help. Let me ask that question. Is there anything that kind of happens in the I like to say in the exam room, you have a different conversation than you have in the lobby walking into your appointment, right? So in the exam room is when you're like, hey, okay, so these are the things that are really happening. Is there any encouragement you can give to gentlemen who are coming in seeking care and just maybe taking the mask off when they get into that exam room?
Yeah, I think one thing I can do and one thing I try to do is try to make it a space where it's we can have the non-judgmental conversation. I think I think sometimes men feel it's a weakness to go to the doctor, right? Or they might be if someone will look down on them when they go, so they'll avoid going, right? Even if the risks are real high. I think if they do come in, I try to be really non-judgmental. I try to make it feel like we're collaborating together, right? What do you think is best? What's your opinion on this, right? How do you think this will affect you? So if you have ownership in our care, in your care, I think you'll be more engaged with it, right? I think, certain masculine traits are a good thing, right? Some men really value physical fitness and achievement, right? So if we can frame it in that way, hey, this will help you reach your goals.
Help you be,
and then I think they'll engage more with it. So I think it's like that. It's kind of like that. It's trying to make it more personal, try to make it feel like we're working on this together, right? Instead of I'm just telling you what to do because it's my job to do it, right?
So right out when you get to your appointment, you can tell them you've been doing a couple extra sets.
Yeah.
You can tell them that
you want to do more sets.
Yeah,
you want to PR.
I'm trying to be swole out in the summer, and you can tell them why. You can
just get your blood pressure checked.
You can tell them why you're doing a couple extra sets, right? You can keep it real, but I want to make sure that all the gentlemen that are listening to this show, the ladies who love them, that are connected to them, that are listening to the show, it is going to take all of us to make sure that the men of our community are healthy and well, because it's a lot of work to do. Let me just say, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in Milwaukee, and we have to be healthy in mind and body to do so. So make the appointment. When you get in the exam room, keep it all the way real, and just believe that you are worth it. I think part of health is also to understand that you're worth it. So even from an aspect that I tend to take on more stress than is needed, I'm worth it enough to be like, I'm not absorbing your stress and your chaos. So for the men, do it. If you can join our team for the Men's Health 5K on July 27th, we would love to have you. So again, get connected to CARE Outreach Community Health Centers. The number 414-727-6320. You can visit our website at ochc-milw.org. But I want to call on you to follow our social media, especially Instagram, because we're about to We're about to blow up. So get in on the ground floor. We're gonna have clips. We're gonna have the notes that I take from these dynamic professionals there for you. But it is Men's Health Month. You can follow us at Community Heartbeat Radio Show on Instagram. Next show, we're going to have, I'm going to call them non-traditional gentlemen from outreach, right? So you hear from the physicians. I'm going to switch it up on y'all on the 27th. We're going to bring some new folks in. So all I can say is make sure you're listening in on June 27th for that show. Dr. TJ, I appreciate you. You're the man. You're the man. Being here. Grey's Anatomy at Outreach. Come and visit us. Thank you so much for listening to Community Heartbeat, presented by Outreach. Not just a show. This is a movement dedicated to bringing our community together through wellness, keeping your heart pumping with positivity. I'm EBONY SsALI. It's Friday the 13th. Go out and do something great for a man in your life. Take care.